From rising star to controversial figure, what really happened to Pirate Software? Is he truly done for, or is there a comeback brewing? Stay tuned, because today we're breaking down every stage of Pirate Software's downfall. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the story of one of streaming's most talked about personalities, Pirate Software. His rise was meteoric, but his journey took some unexpected turns that led to a dramatic downfall. We're going to break down each stage, understand what went wrong, and answer the burning question, is Pirate Software really done for? But before we set sail on this journey, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our deep dives into the biggest stories in streaming and gaming. 1. The meteoric rise. When Pirate Software first appeared on the streaming scene, very few people knew his name. He wasn't backed by massive sponsors or big industry names, nor did he have the benefit of years of networking with other creators. Instead, what he had was charisma, passion, and a willingness to stand out in a crowded field. Streaming is notoriously difficult to break into, with millions of creators all vying for attention, but Pirate Software carved his niche by combining humor, technical skill, and a raw authenticity that people found refreshing. His earliest streams were modest, small groups of viewers, usually just a couple dozen people hanging out in chat. Yet even in those days, there was a sense that this was the start of something larger. Viewers didn't just tune in for the gameplay, they came for his personality, his commentary, and the way he built a sense of community around himself. Unlike many creators who seemed distant from their fans, Pirate Software engaged directly, reading chat, making jokes, and remembering his regular viewers. As time passed, clips of his most exciting moments began circulating on social media. Funny outbursts, insane plays, and heartfelt interactions caught the attention of larger audiences. Before long, he was drawing in thousands of viewers during live streams, and those early loyal fans became the backbone of his growing empire. His brand grew rapidly, and in an environment where attention is everything, Pirate Software seemed unstoppable. 2. The peak. The rise eventually led to what many consider Pirate Software's golden age. At this point, his streams were pulling in tens of thousands of viewers. He wasn't just a small streamer anymore, he was a phenomenon. During this time, he secured major sponsorships, deals that brought in substantial income and further cemented his reputation as a rising star in the gaming and streaming world. His appearances at gaming conventions made him a recognizable face outside of Twitch and YouTube. Fans would line up to meet him, eager for autographs, selfies, or even just a few seconds of interaction. He had achieved what so many dream of, turning passion into a full-time career and basking in the recognition that came with it. It wasn't just about the money or the fame. Pirate Software had cultivated a cultural presence. His content wasn't limited to gameplay. It extended into commentary on the streaming industry, collaborations with other major creators, and a unique brand identity that made him stand out in an oversaturated market. The energy was electric, and the future seemed brighter than ever. But as the saying goes, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. 3. The first signs of trouble. At first, the cracks in Pirate Software's empire were subtle. Observant fans noticed changes in his demeanor on stream. There were times when his tone shifted from high-energy fun to frustration and even bitterness. Occasional slip-ups, offhand comments, edgy jokes, or visible irritation started to make some fans uneasy. Chat dynamics began shifting as well. Loyal followers who had been with him since the early days sometimes clashed with newer fans, and drama would spill over into live streams. Pirate Software, once a master of turning chaos into entertainment, now struggled to manage these tensions. What was once seen as playful banter began to feel toxic. Streaming burnout also played a role. The constant grind of producing content, keeping up with community expectations, and managing the pressure of thousands of eyes on you every day can wear down even the strongest creators. For Pirate Software, this pressure seemed to manifest in increasingly erratic behavior. Some dismissed it as just stress, but others began to worry that deeper issues were brewing. 4. The major controversies. The true turning point in Pirate Software's journey came when controversies began to dominate nearly every conversation about him. What had once been a reputation built on charisma and entertaining content was suddenly overshadowed by viral clips circulating across social media. Some of these clips painted him as toxic toward members of his own community, while others showed heated confrontations with fellow creators. In the fast-moving world of online platforms, where reputations can rise and fall in hours, the backlash was swift and merciless. Almost overnight, headlines began to appear, dissecting his every word and action. Former collaborators, people who had once shared streams, projects, and events with him, chose to distance themselves. A few even spoke out directly, openly criticizing his behavior and adding fuel to the fire. For many of his longtime fans, this was disorienting. The creator they had admired and supported suddenly seemed like a very different figure, engulfed in negativity and scrutiny. The fallout extended beyond reputation. Sponsorships, which represent both financial stability and credibility in the streaming industry, began to vanish. Companies that had previously been eager to attach their name to Pirate Software's brand quietly backed out, unwilling to be connected to controversy. For him, this was devastating on multiple levels. Meanwhile, the community itself fractured. Some defended him fiercely, arguing that mistakes should not define an entire career, while others felt betrayed and walked away. This divide was reflected in his declining viewership numbers, marking the beginning of a steep and very public descent. 5. The downward spiral. Once the controversies began to dominate the conversation, Pirate Software found himself trapped in a downward spiral that proved incredibly difficult to escape. His streams, which once radiated energy, fun, and a sense of excitement, began to feel heavier, overshadowed by an air of defensiveness. Whenever he addressed the controversies directly on stream, rather than calming the situation, his responses often seemed to deepen the divide. Some viewers felt his explanations came across as excuses, while others believed he was too confrontational, creating more tension within an already fractured community. As the negativity grew, his viewership took a dramatic hit. The tens of thousands of viewers who once filled his chat room dwindled into much smaller numbers. The vibrant, hype-filled atmosphere that had defined his community slowly transformed into one riddled with criticism, sarcasm, and hostility. For any streamer, such an environment is emotionally taxing, and it became increasingly clear that Pirate Software was struggling under the weight of it all. Adding to the problem was a noticeable drop in his streaming frequency. Burnout had set in, fueled not only by the mental toll of the controversies, but also by the financial pressure of losing sponsorships and the emotional strain of facing constant backlash. Streams became less regular, and when they did happen, often lacked the spark that once made them must-watch events. Fans who had once been deeply devoted began drifting away to other creators, and the powerful momentum that had propelled him upward now accelerated his decline. 6. Attempts at redemption. Despite the setbacks and the mounting controversies surrounding his name, Pirate Software refused to simply fade away. Instead, he made determined attempts at redemption, striving to rebuild the trust of his audience and reclaim his position in the streaming world. One of his primary strategies was to release apology videos, heartfelt messages where he openly addressed his mistakes, acknowledged the hurt caused, and expressed his desire to change. These apologies, though received with mixed reactions, showed his willingness to confront his past rather than ignore it. In addition to apologies, Pirate Software turned to charity work as a way of showcasing the positive impact he could still have. He organized streams dedicated to raising money for various causes, reminding both fans and critics that he had the ability to use his platform for good. These events attracted attention and, at times, sparked hope that he might be on the road to redemption. Alongside this, he experimented with new content formats, branching into different games, talk show-style discussions, and creative projects in an effort to refresh his image and re-engage viewers. Yet in the digital age, redemption is rarely simple. The internet has a long memory, and once trust is fractured, it is difficult to repair. While some fans were willing to give him another chance, others remained skeptical, unwilling to forget past controversies. His efforts certainly kept him in the conversation, but they weren't enough to restore him to the height of popularity he once enjoyed. 7. Where is Pirate Software now? Today, Pirate Software is still active in the streaming space, though his presence has diminished significantly compared to his peak. The massive audiences he once commanded have shrunk to a fraction of their former size, and his name no longer resonates as strongly within the broader streaming industry. Yet, despite this decline, he hasn't disappeared. A loyal core of fans continues to stand by him, supporting his work and ensuring that his channel remains alive. This dedicated group serves as a reminder that while fame can fade, genuine connections built with viewers often endure. Recognizing the shift in his career, Pirate Software has leaned into more personal and intimate forms of engagement with his audience. Rather than chasing the scale of his earlier success, he now focuses on creating quality experiences for a smaller community. These interactions, while not as publicly visible as his once viral moments, have allowed him to rebuild trust and maintain a sense of belonging among his supporters. The scars of past controversies are still there, shaping how he is perceived, but they have not completely erased his presence. So, is Pirate Software truly finished? The answer isn't so simple. The streaming world is unpredictable, with countless examples of creators who appeared to be over only to stage remarkable comebacks. While his current situation is an uphill battle, reinvention and growth are always possible. His future will depend on whether he can adapt, evolve, and learn from the missteps that once derailed his rise. 8. What can we learn from Pirate Software's story? Pirate Software's story isn't just about one streamer, it's a reflection of the modern digital era. His rise demonstrates the opportunities available to those willing to put themselves out there. With creativity, charisma, and hard work, it is possible to break through even in a saturated market. But his downfall highlights the fragility of success in the online world. The lesson here is clear. Building a community is not just about attracting attention, it's about maintaining trust. Every action, every word, every interaction has weight, because audiences today hold creators to high standards. The same platforms that elevate you can just as quickly amplify your mistakes. For aspiring creators, Pirate Software's journey is a reminder of the importance of balance between content and self-care, between growth and stability, between authenticity and professionalism. In a digital age where one misstep can spiral into a career-threatening controversy, his story serves as both a cautionary tale and a testament to resilience. So, what do you think? Is Pirate Software done for, or can he make a comeback? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your take. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. We've got plenty more content just like this coming your way. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep it real, and I'll see you in the next video.